Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did want to talk a little bit, the Chairman, Mr. Gibbs, we've all been talking a lot about projects of national significance and what the Federal role is in determining how our highway dollars are spent. I'm from Texas. The Texas Department of Transportation's published their transportation goals ranging from a low of $10 million to widen a roadway in Jefferson and Chambers County up to over $16 billion to complete Interstate 69, and near and dear to my constituents in Corpus Christi, $600 million to replace our aging harbor bridge. You hear some people say, let's just turn the money over to the states and block grant it and let them choose the priorities. How do you balance that with choosing what projects are of national significance? I don't think we'd have gotten the interstate highway system built through some of the less populated state. Where is the balance there?
Well, again, it goes back to what I said. I don't know, Congressman, if you were here earlier. I said I would leave the basic funding formula in place that distributes money to every state. But then I would create a second pool of money akin to the Tiger Grant program, maybe even a little larger, for projects of national significance.
We had the President's State of the Union. He had a lot of ideas, many of which I really liked. But are we falling into the trap that I think the President fell into with a laundry list of great ideas, but no, how do we do them? How do we fund them? What is the impact? With a limited pile of money, how do we get there?
Well, again, I think all three, and I don't mean to speak especially for Mr. Donahue, I get him in trouble, but I think we all agree that there should be some increased revenue flow, either temporary increase in the gas tax, change over to vehicle miles traveled.
So the big concern with the miles driven tax, which I think may end up being where we come as we see more vehicles move to natural gas, electric. How do you ensure privacy as to where people are going with that, and how do you pay it on a short-term basis, rather than getting a bill from the government every year for how many months when you don't have the cash to pay it?
It's a very good question, and it's why I suggested to the Chairman that this committee look into that. There is a technology now that can do a VMT at the pump. And again, I'm not sure I can explain it that well.
It's an RFID type deal. Would probably be how it would work.
That's exactly
the pump would
right.
read how far you've driven.
Exactly right, without being intrusive and finding out where you drove and were you in,
And so you create an incentive. Say, all right, you chip your car, you get the miles driven tax. Otherwise, we've jacked the gas tax up. So there's an economic incentive to move to that, or you just move forward with vehicles manufactured after a certain
I don't think we can get vehicles manufactured, vehicle miles traveled quickly enough. I think you'd have to raise the gas tax for a short period of time before there's a transition. But I think this committee, it could be the most valuable thing you do. And I don't know how you do your assignments, Mr. Chairman, but to really up-tempo a study of that. And I don't know if all of you remember, Secretary LaHood came out in favor of looking at and transitioning to a VMT, and then the White House.
Of course, the problem with any increase here is that gasoline, it's almost like an overall tax. There's very few ways an individual can lower their consumption of fuel economically. You can cut out unnecessary trips, but most people don't take many unnecessary trips. You go to work, you go to school, you go to the doctor's office. How do you, without a major capital investment in a new car, avoid that? Are we just asking the American people to pony up more when that's really all they're hearing now?
Well, there are ways. I mean, you'd be surprised, keeping your tires at the appropriate pressure, you'd be surprised how much that cuts your gas bill.
Maybe we'll read the tire pressure and there'll be an alternative tax for not maintaining your tire. I'll give a little bit of time back. Thank you.